Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephen and I'm a traditionally published fantasy author. I thought I'd do a little bit of a reintroduction because I'm aware that even though there's lots of other videos that I've done, not everybody will go back and look at all of them to see who I am and what's going on. So at the start of every video I typically say, I am a traditionally published fantasy author, so who am I and where did I come from? My first novel was published by Orbit Books in 2015. This is Battlemage. This is the first book in a trilogy. Some people call it the Battlemage trilogy, which is fine. The title is actually The Age of Darkness. So when I was picked up by Orbit, it was for 3 books, the trilogy, and I was given a longer lead time up front, which meant that the books could come out every 6 months. This is something that Orbit typically does with debut authors, just so that at the end of a shorter period of time, you've got the whole series, because some people will get interested in a new author, really want to try them out, and then they have to wait, a couple of years for the series to wrap up. And some people will wait for a series to be finished before they'll even pick up the first book, which is quite damaging and quite unpleasant and quite dangerous in some ways for everybody, but I won't talk about that today. So my first book, Battlemage, came out in 2015. The sequel, Bloodmage, came out in 2016. And then the conclusion of the trilogy, Chaos Mage, came out in 2016 as well. So at the end of 12 months, the trilogy was done. And Orbit, who publish obviously in the UK, also publish in America. So my books came out in the UK with a sort of smaller hardback, and in America they were printed over there and they were slightly taller, but everything else was the same. The trilogy did well, so Orbit, as we were getting towards the end of the trilogy, said, right, we'll take you on for another trilogy, so that was another contract, and this was staying within the same world. So the new trilogy is called The Age of Dread, and it picks up 10 years after the events of Chaos Mage, with some familiar characters and a lot of new faces as well. So some people started with the 4th book, Mageborn, and went forward and weren't aware of the first trilogy, and they kind of were like, oh, they enjoyed it, but some people said they felt like they were missing some things, and that's because they've obviously not read the first trilogy. So Mageborn came out in 2017. The sequel, Magefall, came out in 2018, and the wrap-up for the Age of Dread trilogy, Magebane, came out in 2019. So 1 book a year, because I'd kind of caught up on myself when I was working on the new trilogy. And for the time being, some people have asked me, is that the end of stories that's set within that world? And it is for now. I did also do an ebook and audiobook novella. This is a prequel to everything. It gives some reveals, so if you're not sure about Battlemage, then the novella of Gods and Men spoils a couple of small things that leads you into some of the mysteries, and then it goes forward with the story into Battlemage. But so 6 books and the audiobook novella, an ebook novella, set within the same world. I was then picked up for a 2-book series, not a trilogy, a duology from Angry Robot Books. The first one of these is The Coward. I've done a separate video about this, telling you what The Coward is about, so I won't repeat myself here. The Coward is the first book in the duology, which is called The Quest for Heroes, and it came out in June 2021. The sequel, The Warrior, is already written, and it will be coming out in June 2022. I'm currently working on something new. My agent has seen it. I am editing it at the moment, and then hopefully we'll take it forward to a publisher, but that won't happen until next year by the time I've finished with all of my edits. So just a little bit of a roundup again on who I am, what I've been doing, and my publishing history. There's a longer video if you want information on the trilogies, the first 2 trilogies, that gives you a bit more detail, and I've obviously mentioned the video on The Coward as well. So that's it for today. I'll be back soon with another video.